Hey, this is MJ, and in today's tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to make our Caribbean Sand Sunhat. The yarn that I'm using for this tutorial is Dishy worsted weight yarn. This is a 100% cotton number 4 weight yarn. Now I will be holding 2 strands together to double it up. I'll be using dots crochet hooks for this pattern, and I'll be working with the 6mm crochet hook for this tutorial. The pattern includes baby to adult size, and I will be working on the adult size in this tutorial. So I'm taking my 2 strands, putting them together. I've pulled from the center of the ball, which can sometimes be a challenge, but I was able to pull out some yarn from the center so that as I work, it'll be a little bit easier. You will need a stitch marker to mark your rounds because we are going to work in a continuous round, so there isn't a seam. So we're going to get started with a magic ring. So wrap the yarn around your index finger 3 times. We're going to take the hook, sliding it through all 3 strands. Take the first loop, pulling it through, chain 1, and I'm going to work 11 half double crochets in the ring. So yarn over, go through, pulling up a loop. You have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. And work 11 for this size. Follow along with your pattern for the other sizes and how many stitches you'll need to work. So now once you've worked all the way around, we're going to just push our work out of the way so we can see the loops. Take your tail, pull it. Now only 2 loops are going to start pulling in. The other loops don't, so we need to get them tugged in as well. So I'm going to take those loops that started to pull, give them a tug. They're going to tug the other 2 loops in nice and tight, and then you can just pull with your tail. So now we're not going to join this, we're just going to get working right into the next round. I'm just going to try to pull out this stitch a little bit. So this round we'll do 2 half double crochet in every stitch. So there's 1 and 2. So we want to mark the first stitch of the round, and make sure you do this as you go so you don't lose track. So I'm going to work 2 in every stitch. So I'm going from 11 to 22 stitches. Okay, so I've worked around. We can remove the marker. This round we'll do 1 half double crochet in the first stitch and 2 half double crochets in the next. So that is now our repeat, our increase repeat around. Make sure I mark that first stitch. So 1 in the next and 2 in the next. So I'm going to continue this pattern around, increasing to 33 stitches. Okay, so once you get around with 33 stitches, we're going to do another increase. So this time we'll be working 1 in the first 2. Each round's going up by 11 stitches because that's what we started with, and as we follow this increase pattern, each round goes up 11. So there's 1, 2, and then we add 2 to the next. One half double crochet in the next 2, and then 2 half double crochet in the next. So we'll be going up to 44 stitches. for this round. So I'm going to complete that and then I'll meet you up again. Okay, so I finished working that around. I have 44 stitches. Now we'll do our last increase round. So we'll start with 3, 1 in the first 3 stitches. Mark the first stitch of the round. And then 2 in the next. So 1 half double crochet in the next 3. And 2 half double crochets in the next stitch. Okay, so I'm going to complete that all the way around, going up to 55 stitches, and that will be the last increase for this size. So I've worked a total of 55 stitches around for this size, and we'll measure the diameter. So it's about 5 1/4 inches. So we'll begin with a double crochet. And then we'll work a single crochet in the next stitch. So continue to mark that first stitch of the round. Work a double crochet and then a single crochet. So we've started with a double, we're also going to end with a double. So continue around and then I'll meet you up at the end. Okay, so I'm ending with a double. So this way you're just, when you work with an odd number like this, you can easily continue the pattern working in the round. So we started with a double, we end with a double, and now we'll start with a single and end with a single. Because on this round, we want to be crocheting the opposite stitches. So we want to be doing a single into a double stitch and a double into a single stitch. Okay, so we're going to single in the first, double in the next. Mark that first stitch. So single, double, single and double. And we'll keep going around, ending with the single crochet. Okay, so I'm ending with a single crochet, and now we're just flipping the rounds again. So we start with a double, end with a double. Then we start with a single, end with a single, and just keep repeating rounds for the size you're working on. So work as many as I've listed out in the pattern. And once you get your rounds complete for the size you're working on, we'll meet up again and I'll show you how to crochet the brim. Okay, so I've worked a total of 11 rounds of my pattern. So we have 11 plus our starting 5, so 16 in total. Now what we're going to do is start on the band, which is going to be worked in single crochet. So also on our last round, we were ending with our double. So now we're going to single crochet in the next stitch, and we'll do 2 single crochet in the next stitch. So mark that first stitch. So we'll be increasing as we work around the band because we want it to flare out. So 1 in the next and 2 in the next is our pattern. One and then 2. So I'm going to work this all the way around. Okay, so I'm coming around in my pattern, and because we have an odd number, you should be ending with 1 single crochet in the last stitch, and you should now have 82 stitches. So what we're going to do at this point is we're going to work another 5 rounds at the 82 stitch mark, and then we'll meet back up again for another increase round. Okay, so I've worked the additional 5 rounds, which would be 6 in total for the brim. And now we're going to do another increase round. So this time we're going to single crochet in the first 2 stitches. And then we'll increase in the next stitch. So single crochet in the next 2, and then increase the next. Okay, so repeat that all the way around, and I'll meet you up at the end. Okay, so I'm coming around. I have 1 stitch remaining after the end of the repeat, and I'm going to add 1 in the last stitch. So that brings us up to 109 stitches, and we're going to continue to work some more rounds. So we're just working rounds now at 109 stitches to get the brim to the length basically that you want it. So follow along again with the pattern for the size you're working on. Okay, so I was able to work another 5 rounds, and I still have a little bit of yarn left, not a whole lot. So if you can only get 4 rounds, go with that. I just suggest sticking within the 2 balls so you don't have to go into another ball, or just have an extra on hand if you want to be sure that you don't run short. And if we take a measure of the hat, you can see you've kind of got to flatten it out a bit. So if we measure from the top to the brim, it's about 10 1/4. And if we just take a look at the brim, it is about 3.75. I kept a pretty tight tension as well with this hat. So if you need to drop down to this smaller hook, you can always do that. So if I measure right across, you're looking at about 16 inches. So that's going to give you an idea of how my sizing is. And if we just measure it across here, it's about 9. So now what we want to do is the second last stitch. This one was my marker was at this one. I slip stitched and slip stitch into the next. Then I'm going to fasten off. So we're going to do a seamless join. So I'm going to put the yarn on a needle for bulky yarn. We're going to go under both loops of the first stitch and then go back through the back loop only of the slip stitch. And then it's just going to blend right in. Then you can just take your yarn needle, you can weave in those tails. Okay, and finally, if you want, you could add a personalized tag to the hat. And I have these leather rivets. Now you will need a hammer to hammer these together. I'm not going to do that on camera, but there is tools in the kit that you can just place on the rivets and then you can give it a hammer and then it will secure it. We're just going to snap that on for now, but that won't hold, so make sure to give that a hammer. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and tap the bell to stay updated on all my new videos and tutorials. Make sure to check the description box below the video for the links for the yarn as well as the pattern. Thanks so much, guys. Have an awesome day.